Happy Labor Day. Happy Wednesday. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everybody, wherever you're joining us from. Thank you very much for your treasured time. Thanks for joining us today. Welcome back here at the lounge. To everybody joining us over on Facebook, it's good to have you all. As always, if you have questions, please make yourselves heard. Put your thoughts, your questions underneath the live stream into the comment section. I'm always checking whilst we're live here, so we can forward your questions to our wonderful guest for today. To all our friends, family, and regulars here joining us at the lounge, thanks for your loyalty, for your fellowship and friendship as always. Thanks for chiming in, and I very much look forward to sharing this lounge session together with you and hear your thoughts and your questions for the one and only our special guest for tonight. And I'm very much looking forward to the show. I'm excited about everything that we're about to discuss. So without further ado, here's Ismael Rodriguez Olivan, in short, Ish, from Rodriguez Olivan Cigar Factory and BAMF Cigars. Ish, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a mouthful to announce you on the show with your name and your various brands and the factory, of course. We'll talk about all of this, but Ish makes things a lot easier. I was very happy to have run into you at the trade show a bit more than a month ago, and finally we made it happen. And we want to talk about Rodriguez Olivan Cigar Factory. We want to talk about BAMF and all the other projects that you have under your wings. So welcome to Light 'em Up, man. Good to have you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. How are you guys doing?
It's a privilege and a pleasure, Ish. And we have a lot to discuss. We have a lot to unearth. So, well, first of all, we need to give everybody a bit of a background story on you personally, and of course your journey into cigars. As you know, we have a global audience. We have people joining us all the way from Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Africa, Europe, all the way to the US, Middle and Central America, and South America, of course. For everybody who's not familiar with Ish and ROCF, BAMF, you, Ish, were actually born and raised in Spain, so you're a fellow European, but you've been living in the US since the late 90s. You had a military career, some of which sort of transcends into your branding and the way BAMF Cigars was put together. But how did you start enjoying cigars in the first place?
The first time I had a cigar, I was 14 years old, and it was not enjoyable whatsoever. It was not enjoyable. It was my dad. Okay, so my father, rest in peace, he was a merchant marine, and he came home probably for 15 days, 20 days, and go back around the world to make money for us, and my mother, my brother, and I, and come back every 3 months, 6 months, sometimes 15 months. So the last time that he left, I was 12, talking about a long trip. And he came and I was 14. I was smoking my cigarettes, like having a beer, whatever. And he said, you want to be a tough guy? Yeah. I want to tell you what tough guys are. And he gave me something called in Spanish sol y sombra, which means the sun and the shadow, which he put cognac and anise. And he
Ooh.
gave me a Farias from Spain, which is very strong cigar. Like he never told me how to smoke a cigar. So I was just puffing, inhaling like it was a cigarette. And he was with a big newspaper, like in Spain, they are, once in a while going like this, looking at me, I just giggling and laughing. And I was becoming green, and green. And so I finished my drink and like halfway in the cigar. So, well, tough guys do 2 drinks and 2 cigars. And I like, I'll be right back. I went to the bathroom and he has to wake me up because I was like, ugh. So that was my first cigar. But after that, probably I was almost 16 years and we started to smoke cigars. It's very normal, like, in Europe, going to weddings, going to birthdays, and the males he has a cigar, the females have cigars or whatever. And that's how it was. And I started until now, 30 years later, keep smoking. Yeah.
Well, the first experience definitely sounds like it was a challenging one, but
It was.
at
It
the same
was.
time, I'm sure it had quite an imprint on you. Did you enjoy cigars with your father after that? Was it sort of a bonding element, a way
It,
for you
it,
guys to
it
connect?
was. It was. We don't smoke many cigars together because, like I said, he was coming and going for 6, 7 months at a time. And then when I started to enjoy cigars, mostly was already teenager, going already to my 20s and all of that. And I was working as well, so we didn't smoke too many cigars together. But when we did smoke cigars, it was just going for a walk with our dog, or just sitting down in the patio in the chair or whatever, having a wine, having a beer, whatever it was, a cognac or whatever. And yeah, it was good times for sure. It was, yes. Mm-hmm.
What was it that grabbed your attention though, or what was it that sort of sucked you into that world of cigars that, differentiated it from, other things like a good drink or just a glass of wine? But what was it that was special about cigars, even to the extent of you considering, joining the industry at some point?
To me, it's quality time. The most important thing is quality time. You to have a drink, to have a cigarette, to have a whatever, it takes you minutes. To have a cigar and experience the cigar and calm down, wind down, and be more, relaxed per se. It takes you, it can be from 1 hour all the way to 2.5, 3 hours, depends the cigar. And that's what I'm very nervous for nature. I know it was like going like this, like 100 miles per hour. And when I have a cigar, I just sit down and just relax. And it happens since I was, very young. I believe it's that quality time.
Mhm.
Normally, I love to enjoy a cigar by myself if nobody's around. But if people are around and smoking a cigar, probably the best conversations, the best thoughts. If I by myself, the best thoughts, the best ideas, it come me being relaxed and smoking a cigar, to be honest.
I'm with you. I always say that even in today's day and age, or most importantly in today's day and age, where everything is fast paced, everything is online, everything is digitalized, the cigar is one of the most important products that we have today, and it's the perfect product for our time because it reminds us that sitting down, spending quality time just by yourself or with
Mm-hmm.
somebody else, sharing a great conversation is it's almost like a lost art in today's world. And there's something mystical and magical about that simple and humble hand-rolled product that seems to very gently remind us and nudge us into the right direction of, take a step back, sit back, lean back, and reconsider certain things in life, certain values, and what's important to you. And that to me still is one of the most fascinating aspects of cigars. Another one, of course, being the community and the camaraderie, something that we experience here every week with our friends and fellows and regulars, with the people from the industry, where it's mesmerizing to see that in this industry you have a sense of unity and camaraderie and togetherness, unlike any other industry that I've ever experienced. When was the first time that you got a glimpse of that, or sort of understood that cigars are not just something that you can enjoy every now and then, but there's more to it. There's meaning to it, and also a path of life and making a living for you in the sense of building your livelihood around this?
Well, I believe that the most thing that captivated my mind about cigar, it was me being in Angola for 3 years. When you see, yes, people, it's war. So you go over there and you have to do what you have to do. And all of a sudden you just go and you some local rolling a cigar, smoking a cigar, and just like nothing happened, like he was in vacations. I said, well, it's bullets flying all around, but you just over there with your cigar, and that made me think, why? Why is that? And then when I start to smoke more and more and more, say, this is like a medicine. It should be more out there. It should be more, you can have part of my friends a shitty day, but you come home or you go to a lounge or whatever, and you light a cigar, and all your problems for that hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, they gone. So that's what I say. You know what? Let's do something not just for hobby. Let's to start to make more cigars, and we start as a hobby per se, and look now. So I believe it was that just the quality time, relaxed time. To me, it's like a stress killer. It kills your stress, at least for that time and period that you're smoking. It kills your stress, and you focus, yes, in nothing really. You focus in nothing. You just manage your own things. You're talking with friends. I don't care. It could be a judge. It could be one guy that lost his job. It could be a mechanic. It could be a doctor. It's not tax, to a person who is smoking a cigar. And that's what really, really, really made me passionate about the cigars, to be honest.
As we know, and we've discussed this multiple times on the show, though, it's one thing to have a deep love and passion for cigars. It's another thing to have a deep understanding of the industry, but to join the industry and to start your own brand and let alone start your own factory, that's a whole different animal.
It is.
What for you was the one thing that you were most scared about when actually venturing into the industry?
To me, coming to the industry, I've been blending for many other brands. We have right now 95, 96 starting yesterday. So I was blending already for a long time. But it was not my hands. I just blend, you like it. I call the factory made the cigars for you. But when I have my first factory, I said, whoa, that's no joke anymore. It's not like a blending and calling A, B, C, and D and say, hey, this is the blend, this client needs 200 cigars or 2,000 cigars or 5,000 cigars. So, whoa, now I had to pay the bills. Now I had to have the whole, utilities. I had to pay the mortgage. I had to pay the employees. I had to get the regalia, which is an extra pay in December. So that scared me at first. I said, what if I don't make it? So the whole thing was that, and that's what I started with, a very tiny, small 22, 23 square 100 feet. Then we moved to a bigger one. Now we much bigger one. But that was the scary or living in Florida and having the factories in the DR is 2 hours flight. So that's no a problem. But sometimes you cannot fly. And for instance, during the pandemic, I couldn't fly or nothing like that. So that was scary because if you're not there, it's not the same thing. So you have to be on top of things. You are the owner, or you are the blender, the producer, the face, and you know that is scary. That's probably the most. Pay the bills and be able to be over there at any given point. So that's the scary part, honestly.
How quickly did you feel like you were accepted as a serious player in the industry? Because coming from the outside in, it's challenging. When you look at all these generational tobacco and cigar families, the operations that they have built, and then you have an influx of American entrepreneurs, some people from Europe or even the Middle East or Southeast Asia, coming with the idea of starting their own brand, probably even starting in their own factory, even though that's a whole different animal, trying to be vertically integrated. But when did you feel like you took that next step where people started to accept you as part of their natural habitat and their inner circle?
I believe no. It was in 2017 is when we became for being nobody, which, like I said, we are still nobody. Yeah, people know us. We produce a lot of cigars, but it was one particular person that he wanted to do a cheap cigar, like a scrap cigar, like just to give to the public for $2 or $3, and nobody could do that, or they don't have the time, or they don't have the people, or they don't know how to do it, or whatever was the case. So just happened that this person lives in Fort Lauderdale, which is Coral Springs, which is about 45 minutes, 50 minutes from my house. And he told me, hey, do you think that if I give you so much money for per cigar, you can make it? I said, well, I would have to put money in order to do that because it's impossible. Say, unless that you want to do, scrap tobacco. He said, oh, that's what I'm talking about. And we went for doing just a few thousand cigars per month to just with this client making 950,000 cigars a month. So it's when people start to say, whoa, what's going on in Rodriguez Olivan Cigars factory? Now people finish working in this ABC and D factories, and after work, because they cut to 300 or 400 cigars per day, they were coming to work with us as well. We went for 4 couples to have over 200 employees. And that's where people say, whoa, he's not joking no more. Then because of that, I was calling 2018 to the 20th anniversary of Habanos, in La Habana, Cuba, and I was giving a seminar on dual wrap and triple wrap because they never did dual wrap or triple wrap per se. And less that I know is that I'm in my friend's house watching TV, and over there is just national TV, and it's like 4 channels, and I see myself on the TV. I say, that's me. Why? And it's because somebody for the TV over there, for the government, was doing that and said, why this guy's over here? I didn't know. I went over there, I paid my bills, I did everything, and all of a sudden they call my name and come over here and roll cigars. I say, okay. So I believe it was 2017, 2018 when we took a little off. That's what I believe.
Now, Ish, one thing that I was sort of I was wondering when reading your story, when taking a bit of a deep dive into your work and your brands, do you think that trying to be vertically integrated and owning your own factory, manufacturing your own cigars is the ultimate end game if you want to be successful in this industry? And it might be a bit of a controversial question, and I really don't mean it in that sense because people have different opinions about this. But I'm just curious as to your personal take on this.
To me, it's 2 ways to do it. But mine, obviously, I took the route to become a factory, to become a blender, to become a roller, to become an exporter, to become an importer. So we have all in house. So we don't have to wait for this person to have this importer to have 3,000 cigars to see, to lower the prices or whatever. So we import ourselves. So we have all the license. So that's the ultimate goal. Absolutely, yes. You don't depend in nobody. You just depend in the airline. Just, hey, I want to ship tomorrow. Today's day you have to put the cigars 24 hours prior. But that's the only thing. Just have, a cargo confirmed that your shipment is going to be tomorrow the next day. That's the ultimate for me and for many people. But I see people just having a brand and depending in another factories to do it. They don't have to come with the money upfront. They don't have to have headaches. They don't have to have nothing. And because they already have importers and exporters at big scale, the only thing that they do is pay for the cigar and brand the cigar. And if you're lucky enough and your cigar is good, first of all, the cigar has to be, accepted. I believe that you have to be accepted as a person before the cigar. Then when the cigar takes off, you can be whoever you want. That's the matter. The cigar will be keeping smoking for people. But it's those 2 ways. Okay, have a brand, very good brand, with a good factory making your cigars. Don't worry about it. Find the clients or do everything yourself. My case is do everything yourself.
One thing that you just made me think about, and I'm curious, when you mentioned you feel that you have to be accepted as a person first, and
yes,
as a brand.
Yeah.
Was that also the philosophy that you applied for your cigars? Because BAMF Cigars is centered around a very strong theme and a very strong sense of camaraderie, and not necessarily on the unique personal touch, or the founder,
Yeah.
the one person behind it. Did you always think of putting your face out there first and being accepted as a person and then developing the brand behind it? Or do you think that in today's day and age, also because of everything we spoke about, this is the way to go because people need that hero figure. People need the one person to sort of cling on to.
It is because today's day, like you said, we don't know anymore. You can be being in I don't know, talking on the phone with somebody that you think that you know and you don't know them at all, or you become friends with people on Instagram, Facebook, any social media, and they know who they say they are.
Yeah.
So I believe that to put a face and say, okay, this is a cigar, this is the maker, okay, he made the cigar. I believe it's important for people to know who's making the cigar. Now, you've been in the industry for 120 years. Excuse me, La Aurora, for instance, or you go to big names, they don't need to have a face no more. But you think about it, in any trade show, the big guys, they don't have to be there, but they are. Even if it's to say hello and take a picture, it is important to know that when you spend 8, 10, 15, $20, whatever the dollars amount or euros amount is in a cigar, that you can say, okay, I trust in the cigar because I trust the guy. I saw this person. I took a picture with him. We shake hands. I believe that is very important. I will trust more somebody that I shake hands with them than we just spoke at the phone. And I believe it's very important. I believe.
And I mean, to your point, I would even argue that if you are a legacy company and brand with a strong family lineage and tradition, it can be crucially detrimental to the brand if suddenly you lose that person,
Yeah.
if you lose the
Yeah.
character, the face of the brand. I think that can put a brand at jeopardy pretty easily,
He
and
could. Yeah.
which is very challenging for a lot of these traditional manufacturers to sustain that and make sure that they can carry on the legacy from one generation to the next, especially when I think today when you see a generational shift, most of the time the fathers or the grandfathers of those families, they had their hands in the earth and in the dirt, and they had to work their ass off in order to get the whole
Yeah.
thing off the ground. But suddenly the young generation grows up in a very different environment, in a different world. So of course that brings with it a lot of challenges. And I don't think it's easy for these companies in particular to manage those generational shifts and get the new kids, the new generation involved.
Yeah, that's true. If you think about it, a cigar is not as big, but you imagine the automobile uh, uh, commerce, whatever you want to call fabrication. Obviously, whoever the Mercedes is gone, but if the family was not there, putting the face, putting the mechanics, showing their faces here and there and there and there and there, they will lose everything that they have. So I believe that if people trust and believe in your product, they have to trust and believe on you. Otherwise, it's no one without the other. Granted, you can be all the way around and became a little controversial about everything because you know that everybody likes a little drama here and there. So you can be the most dramatic guy, if it's not a factory, if it's just a brand, the most dramatic guy, calling out everyone, doing this, doing that, and people will buy the cigar just because how you are. Like, you know what? I don't want to give 2 pennies to this guy, but I wanna see what it's about, and people will do it as well. So it's like a strategy.
The question is how sustainable is that really, right? I
No
mean,
match. It will be short time.
yeah.
Short time. It will be that. So
Do you think that this is a just a question of how do you build your brand and how do you conceptually start the whole thing? To make an analogy, I have a background in the wine and spirits, but also in the hospitality industry.
mhm.
And when you start a bar, a restaurant, so often the guests want to come and see the owner. They want to spend time with the patron and sit at the table with the owner, with the boss, and feel like he's the one who made the pasta for them, or he's the one who shook their cocktail, right? And then suddenly, if that person is not there anymore, it slowly fizzles and you lose that personal touch. On the other hand, there's very successful hospitality concepts that work without one single person, but it's the story, it's the concept, it's the venue, it's the entirety of the whole thing that makes it
Mhm.
work. So less dependent on a unique character. So do you think it's just a conceptual question, or something that cigars, because of the very nature of the product, are just more inclined to, have that face of the brand and have that single person as the one who makes it all come to life.
Well, it's like everything, If to me, I would love every time I go to a restaurant to talk with the chef, even though it's impossible. He has no time for everyone, but he's the one cooking your food. So that will be the ultimatum, to go to wherever you go and know who's the maker. That's how I always been, and I was ask questions. Okay, this work like this. Why? Who say that? Oh, it was that guy. Can I talk with that guy? So I believe that with the cigars say the same thing. The cigar industry is not that big. People think that it's huge. It is not. It's very small, to be honest with you. And we all know each other. So because you know each other, you have to do something that the rest they don't do. And obviously you have to introduce yourself, do a podcast, do interviews, go to places. Doesn't have to be a huge venue or big or small venue. You have to go to all of them. And even when you get an status that you are up here, or you think that you are here, if you just miss 2 or 3 events, you're going to go down. So that's what is very important, the face. Or if it's not the face, it could be the blender or the master blender, however people want to call it, or the wife or the son or the daughter, but they must see somebody over there that represent the family, the legacy of that cigar. That's what I believe that is in the cigar industry.
How did you think about that in the beginning, or has your philosophy changed in that sense over the years, running the factory and the brands?
No, it does because there is many cigars. You will never see me, at least at this interview with me, smoking my own cigars ever. I smoke always somebody else's cigars. And people told me, how? I say, well, I tell you why, because I cannot always smoking my cigar, because that would be very selfish of me, first of all, and kind of like a narcissist. You have to try everything. So the same applying to people, so yeah, changed during the years. Yeah, but it's not too many factories that the person on charge or the face is not there. It could be brands that they know there and send somebody else. And sometimes it can be a bad choice because you send people that they shouldn't be talking about things that they don't know and things like that. But at the end of the day, if you have a brand already, honestly, I believe that how many times the big guys go to, I don't know, to China? Maybe never, but the cigars sell over there. Why? Because it's in the United States. Why? Because it's in Europe. So sometimes it's not that necessary. But United States is a huge place where everybody smokes cigars. And mostly I'm talking about here, even though I'm European. But over here is more lounges, more things. So once in a while, when the owner shows up, the whole thing light up. It's like the car needs a little gasoline, and just the gasoline show up, and now the car is starting. And it's a totally different atmosphere. It's totally different. It's totally different. And I believe that, yeah, you have to put a face with a cigar. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes.
On a more personal note, Isham, how much of your former career and how much of your experiences in the armed services have sort of transcended into the way you think about the cigar industry, the way you handle all your operations and your business? How much inspiration is there in the former career as to what you do now?
To me, as a matter of fact, it's no much difference. Except that obviously you don't go to war, but it's no much difference. It's still a change of command. It's
Mm.
still from the farmer to the harvest to do the whole dry houses, to go and do the fermentation, to do and do the classification, to do so. It's still a chain of command until it goes to the owner. But everything goes from this guy to this guy or lady, meaning guys could be female or male. This. Same than the military. You don't go being a soldier and go, hey, my general, what do you think of, You go step by step by step by step. And it's the only way that everybody is on the same term and everybody knows what is going on. So in the cigar industry, the same thing. If you don't know nothing about the guy that planting the seed, you don't know nothing about the guy that is do the harvest. You don't know nothing about the classification personnel. You don't know nothing. So that's where it has to go. Boom, 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 boom. I believe it's very similar, to be honest. Different concept, but it's a chain of command at the end of the day.
Um,
It makes sense.
Do you also think that there's a sort of a parallel or a similarity when it comes to that sense of camaraderie that we spoke about
Yes.
a bit earlier? It's
Yes.
fascinating. One of the actually one of the only analogies that would come to mind in terms of where do you have such a strong sense of community and camaraderie as in cigars. It's probably in the service, like
Absolutely.
whether you're in the fire brigade or in the military, you rely
Absolutely, yes.
on the guy standing next to you, having your back in that moment.
Well, when I have a problem, thanks God I don't have many, but if I have a problem, or when I did, or when I will have another problem, and if I cannot solve the problem right like that, it changed from civilian to military, think, and I think, well, this is the same thing. Well, if the buncher is not working, the roller cannot roll. But what about if we put the roller to bunch just in case the buncher tomorrow fails? The same thing. When you're in the military, you are not just the guy driving. You better know how to shoot. You better know how to survive. So in case that your driver has an accident or whatever happened, you can manipulate that. That could be a tank, it could be whatever it is. So it has a lot to do military with cigars, on my personal opinion. For another guys, probably no, say, well, a cigar is a cigar, a wine is a wine, a bourbon is a bourbon. But the mentality that you have, you focus a little more in like I said, chainsaw command. So you don't want this guy to fail you because the whole thing will go down. So if these guys fail, you better prepare for this guy on top to go down and not care about it, or for the guy below to go on top and don't care about it. Many people, they frustrated, like, oh man, I cannot be a manager. The manager have an accident. How are you going to be a manager? Well, you better be a manager. Yes, manage yourself. You better be a manager, because if you don't do it, who's going to do it? So it's the kind of mentality that you have to do, you know? Same thing in the army. It's all soldiers, and you might say just one sergeant. The sergeant was hit. Well, somebody has to be a sergeant now. So choose who's going to be, but same thing in tobacco. That's how I think.
Do you also feel like it was a bit of a safety net when you started with BAMF Cigars, that you would have people in the military and in the armed services to support the brand, so you knew you had a base
It was a niche.
a very clearly defined target audience for the product?
Yeah, that was the first thing. I said, well, I can go up or I can go down. I said, but if my niche is military, because I spent most of my life in the military and law enforcement. So if I do something, especially at first, which it was only for first responders and military personnel, they are gonna buy it. They know you support. That's the good thing about the military, that you support each other, no matter what, for the good and for the bad. You are gonna support each other. And so you start with a few cigars, they buy it. Maybe they don't rebuy because they still have cigars, but they pass to another guys. And that actually that was my niche. And to this day is still my legal niche, is in the military for sure, and law enforcement. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit more about the product itself. With such a clearly defined target audience, did you also think about a specific way of blending or the cigar experience that you wanted to convey, because you knew that's what my guys are looking for? And is there even something as, you know, a specific taste profile that people, first responders or people in the military service, would be looking for?
That's one thing that we are not very famous per se, but we are well known for that we use totally different tobacco that nobody else uses. And we blend tobacco for different countries. And it's again based in the military. Because you are born and raised in Spain doesn't mean that you're going to be only in Spain. Because you are a U.S. Marine doesn't mean that you're only going to be over here. So you travel to different countries, you have different cultures, you have different tastes. Then you've been deployed for 9 months and you're in something that, wow, it's not that bad, or smoking something ain't bad. You come home and you say, oh, I wish I was eating that thing. It was a bad time, but when I was eating that thing or smoking that thing, it was good. So that's mostly what it told me. Okay, you know what? Let's go to Transylvania. Is tobacco in Transylvania? Absolutely. Probably it's tobacco in all over the world, but Transylvania, or go to Ireland, or go to wherever. And that's the one thing that because, you know, this is the funny thing, to be honest with you, Reinhard. You never know how good you have it until you don't have it, or how good your own country is until you move away. And things that you have every day, you're looking, oh, look, it's a lake, or it's whatever. Oh, it's beautiful. 2 years later, you say, until you move and you say, wow, if I was fishing in that lake, wow, if I was home, wow. So So that's mostly what we do with the cigars, with the blending. I miss when I was in Africa. I miss when I was in Romania. I miss when I was. So I try to put everything together, and believe it or not, the cigar, the lips, it gives you that. It gives you like a going back to where you're having fun or where you were having whatever the situation it was. Same thing with food, you know, it's like, oh, I wish I was doing this and I can now. So, okay, no worries. You want something from Africa? We have it. You want something from Ireland? Yeah, we have it. So that's, if it makes any sense, I don't like just one thing. One thing. I like it to
would you
mix.
say sort of your inspiration is some of the memories or the maybe even the sense of certain
Yeah,
regions in the world that you
yeah.
experienced, which you then try to translate into the cigar experience?
Absolutely, yes. It's 100% yes. It happening, and mostly because wherever I go, I've been smoking for 30 years. So wherever I go, I was smoking, and it's something that I might not like as much, or something that I love. So I like a mad, I don't know, church, and I go with my knife, and I had to open and say, "What the hell is this?" A small one by one. Oh, I like this. I had to buy it. I buy them and bring it to the factories and keep doing that. So it's it's no one place in earth. Talking about the military, they went. So it's no one place in earth that everything is bad. It's no one place in earth that everything is good. No matter where you go, you're gonna find something better that you will have fun. And it's the truth. It could be, I don't care if it's the water, if it's a beer, if it's a soda, if it's a candy, whatever. So why just focus on one thing? Focus in all. We are the whole planet. Yes, pick up things good from each place and make something good. That's
One good example is the Don Olivan Pure African, right?
Yeah.
Where you see you're playing with something that's very sort of left field, and you don't see that very often in the industry, and it's inspiring and refreshing. My question though is how difficult is it to work like this and to maintain that, because sourcing tobacco is very challenging. It's getting
It is challenging.
harder, obviously, and most people in the industry play with let's say a portfolio of raw material
Mm-hmm.
that is somewhat well defined, and people play with different instruments as part of the orchestra, but it's still sort of a logical format and framework of the instruments that you have at your availability. How challenging is it to try and go against the grain a little bit and do something completely different, work with raw materials that you won't find very often in other cigars?
The challenge doesn't come on the flavors or in getting accepted by people, because everybody in any point in life you try something different. So that's not the challenge. The challenge is in quantities. For instance, when I did the pure African, I almost have a heart attack when I saw the bill, because over there they don't just do classification, and here here is your ligero, here is your seco, here is your volado, here is your corona, here is your wrapper, and here is your binder, and here is your filler. They chop the plant, they make a hole on the ground, they ferment it underground, then take it off 6-7 months later, it's already fermented on the whole plant. So you cannot just, oh, I want the 3 ligeros, and the corona on top, and then give me no. You have to buy the whole thing. So when and don't think that they are gonna clean it and take the dirt out. No, it's weight. You pay by the you pay by the kilo, by the pound. So that was the first time I said, wow. So that's the most challenging thing is can go over there before the shipment is coming to your factory. Because if you buy with not knowing what you're buying, it's not good. You put it this way. How many times people order something from Amazon on a daily basis and 90% it gets returned because you just see a picture? Same thing with tobacco. You don't see the tobacco, you don't touch the tobacco, you don't smell the tobacco, you actually don't know what you're getting. So the challenge is, okay, now we have a shipment from 10 tons of whatever it is. Travel to this place. That's the most challenging part and costly. But other than that, really, the acceptation of the flavors is like everything else, You can like red, I can like black, the other guy white, the other guy green. So it's always a palette for somebody that it will like it. That's for sure.
You mentioned the economics as well, and what I very much enjoyed when learning more about you and the brand is that you pride yourself in offering a quality experience, but always at an affordable and approachable price. Um,
Yes,
of course, having things under your own roof and under your own control, being as close to vertically integrated as possible gives you a better chance of achieving that.
yes, yes.
Um, how do you think about the evolution of the industry, where nowadays it has almost become a mass sport to launch brands with very high price points, $25 and above? Um, of course, with everything getting more expensive, the challenges in supply chain, of course, and logistics being a nightmare
Mhm.
these days, it's logical that things get more expensive. But how do you manage to keep the cigars at a price point that is still very affordable and approachable for a lot of people? And how do you feel about the industry slightly shifting back again to a more, and I hate this term, but more luxury or elitist sport for people with deep pockets?
Well, in my case, about the price point is because I never buy just to do one run or two runs. I buy to have cigars made the same, not the same blend, because I don't care what people tell you,
Or
in the
and
same
is there even
form.
something as
Say that again? I thought he's something. So for the price point on us is just the trick is to buy to do for many, many, many thousands of cigars for many rounds. No, not just one or two. I do 1,000 cigars today and I do another 1,000 cigars in 3 months. I believe that we maintain the price because we have tobacco for the next 10 years to do any one of our lines. And we don't stop buying. So we're buying next year. So now when we go 1 year or whatever, you have reserve. That's our thing. And yes, you're right. Everything is under the same roof. So it's cheaper. Now, about the people coming with these high, sorry to say, ridiculous prices, unless that you are very well established and you come, let's put names. I hate to put names, but it's not the same thing being over here, Don Olivan, and say, oh, the Year of the Dragon, $100 that is Davidoff does or Plasencia does or whoever does. It's different thing. But it's people coming with ridiculous prices, brand new brands, $40, $50. And the mindset is saying, well, I don't want to do something that is too cheap because people think that it's going to be not as good. So I'm going to put something that is extremely expensive, so people must think that is good. Now, they buy it or they don't buy it. But probably just once, they will buy it. So if I sell, 25,000 cigars a year, just to 25,000 different people at $40, I make $1 million. So if you go with the mindset of making money, go ahead, be my guest and put $40, $50 cigars. If you want with the mindset of being year after year after year and have a name and help another people or whatever, that mindset it will not work at all.
What's your prediction as to how that will unfold? Do you think it's a natural consequence of things getting more expensive? And as with, unfortunately, so many things in life and in society, the gap is widening. You either play at the very low end where things are budget, little quality, little service, but at least affordable, or you have to go super premium, but it's sort of the middle that's slowly eroding. Or do you feel it's sort of a bubble that eventually has to burst and people will come back to a more reasonable mid-tier?
It will happen. It is like cigar industry is like any other industry, It's like I want to make an example that has nothing to do with the cigars. It has to do with wine. But at least you understand where I'm coming from. You go to California. It's one place that we love. It's called Kokomo. So these guys, Kokomo, they say that they only produce 3,000 Malbec bottles a year. But, and I'm talking about 7 years back when I became a member, 8 years back when I became a member. So, and he started to talk, whatever, and people start just to asking questions about the age and this and this and that. And as soon as I got put my hand up, my wife, honey. I said, well, honey, I own 2 businesses in Spain. I've been with the wine industry more than with the cigar industry. Everyone in my family knows about wine. So let me ask a couple of questions. And the guy go and said, okay, yeah. He said, how many bottles you produce? And the guy said, 3,000. How many members do you guys have? 1,000. I said, okay. How many bottles per year of the amount that you have per member? 12. I said, okay, so that's 12,000. How many, and I keep going and going, how many, testing you do? 3 a day? How many days? 365. I said, well, man, you only have 3,000 bottles, but you already sold 12,000 bottles, and you have another 12,000 bottles for tasting. That's not, any other question? That comes to the cigar. It's not that hard to find the wrapper, the binder, or the filler. It is hard to have, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Is that hard? No, it's not. It's more expensive. So people are going to say, well, this cigar is going to be $45 because it cost me almost impossible to find. No, it's not. You just pay a little more. So do better math in calculations in your head. It's no way this it costs today 20 and next year it costs 45. It's no way. It's impossible. People are abusing about that. No factories, brands. Factory is going to charge you the same thing to the brand. And I have people that I say, whoa, man, I wish I was you. I'm making cigars for you for 6 years, and you have cigars at $60. Wow, man. But it's the niche. But I see many of them falling down and have to, to close. So actually, it is tobacco. It is. It is resources. They are. Remember, it used to be just 1 fermentation a year. Now, because of the weather, we fermentation is extremely harvest. Now it's 2 harvests a year. So it's, oh, look, balloons.
That's a new one.
Yeah, I did something with my fingers, I guess. So it is, but it's again supply and demand. So you make like everything, in whatever. Oh, we cannot have this cut of meat because it's so hard, blah blah. Well, can you get it? I don't mind to pay a little more. Instead to be $20 a pound, now it's 40. Why? The guy have it over there in the refrigerator, but he just makes you think that it's so hard to have it. But it was not. He had it already. So that's the problem I see with the industry, that not with everyone, but the most people, newcomers mostly, oh no, my cigar is, it's super expensive. It's, 10 years old, or this and this and that. I cannot put the cigar with the price. How people are doing now is not.
Speaking of paying a little more, I also very much like the fact that you say you at RCF you pride yourselves on quality of life and the work environment for your employees and the people. What does that mean for you? How do you live and breathe that every single day with the people working?
It's to me, okay. Again, change of command. If the guy on top don't give a good light to the guys below, the good light to him is not going to happen. Okay, so the same thing happened with me. I own a construction business over here in Florida. If I don't take care of my guys are not going to work happily. So my clients are going to be calling me, hey, look, what is this? They destroyed the house. Well, what are you going to say? Well, I paid them $200. Or I say, oh, well, it's good. Well, because I paid them 5 times more than normal. I make less money for me. They happy, make more money. They will never switch from me to another. So that's what I do with the factories. I put AC in the factories. If I don't want to be shorting when I'm working, I don't want my workers to be shorting when they're working. Obviously, we don't need the AC 24/7 because it will dry the tobacco. But you put the AC at 6 o'clock in the morning with no tobacco over there, in just on the rolling tables, and you leave it until 10 o'clock to shut it down, close the doors, the nice weather, you must say, temperature still inside, and then you just open the doors a little, 2 hours later, you put it again. So I want my cigars, or any cigar that I buy, as a matter of fact, to take, if it takes a little salty, I hope it's for the volcano soil and not for the roller sweating his butt off, into the cigar. And I see that many times. So treat people like you will be, like you want to be treated, and that's what we do. And well, if another people pay per se 25 cents a cigar, well, give them 50. You're not gonna die. You're just the better they are, the more you are going to see in the production of the cigars. So it's not the same thing working when you're sad or working when you're happy. It is not the same. So yeah, if they're happy, the cigars are happy, I'm happy, the clients are happy. I believe it's simple.
And especially now where everybody is short of staff, everybody's fighting
Mm-hmm.
keep the people. There's a tremendous brain drain in Nicaragua. Cuba, of course, experienced that as well, but it's tough to find good people and then keep them and motivate them every single day.
Oh, but again, if you take care of them, they will never leave you.
So,
If you don't take care of them, remember, it's the cigar rollers. I don't care in which country. They make money, but they make money by production. If you go to work for a factory that only allow you to make 200 cigars per day, you better find another factory later on, or go to clean houses, or go to a, I don't know, do something else, because you will not survive. So when you go to a factory that it give you nice temperature rooms, it treats you well, it pay you for your lunch, it give you, that's my dog. Why open the door and she's gonna keep barking and barking and barking. So it is important, for me to, I don't, okay, nobody's gonna become rich in the cigar industry unless that you were rich from the beginning with. That's a fact. But you do, $75 a cigar for 3 years and you become millionaire, and then you just say, okay, guys, I'm sorry, I'm leaving. But you have to take care of your guys. If you take care of your guys and you take care of like the farmers, if the farmer is not paying attention to the plants, I don't care how good you are. The tobacco is not there. So, and for them it's the babies. So they take care of that. Because when we go and buy it, we are gonna watch. I say, You want how much? $25 for no. I give you 12. So that's I believe it goes not just in tobacco, in everywhere. I believe that's my belief, anyways.
I couldn't agree
Treat people
more
good.
with you. I couldn't agree more. And it always comes down to very simple basics, and that is just
Simple.
treat your people right and take
That's
care
it.
of the people who shared so much of their time and their life with you, and help you build whatever you want to build. And with something as passionate, as passion driven, and such a wonderful product that brings people together like a premium cigar, invest in the people working for you and with you, and make sure that you build something for the long term, instead of just hunting a quick buck and a few dollars here.
Absolutely. But it's like I don't understand why people can go to a restaurant. I go with my wife any given point, and I had to put my cheaters and see, are you sure that that's what he says? See, well, we only have a couple of steaks and a bottle of wine and it's $300. How come? But I know when I say, hey, show me the receipt of the cow and tell me how much you pay to this. I pay it. Good. So why people cannot pay $8, $10, $12, $15 a cigar? With no asking questions. Oh, it's a brand new brand. Well, it's the same tobacco that the other guys. So it's the same price. Now, when it comes to $75, $100, $200 cigar, well, I just laugh because I know how much it costs. So that's what it make me. Or you are just a genius in marketing and say that yours it comes from Mars, and and just you roll when it's a blue moon and full moon, and people believe you. Other than that, it's no much difference between one cigar and the other. Honestly, it is not. It's the same process. Could be aged or could be not. But it still costs more. So people are still thinking that the cigar is cheap to make it. And it's not cheap. It's not cheap, and that's what you pay for. But a cigar costs $4 or $3 or $2. Well, yeah, maybe at the factory, but they don't pack themselves, they don't put the pants themselves, they don't fly themselves, they don't pass through customs. Hey guys, hey, stay you, and goes to the stores. Nothing, all of that, it costs money.
I always smile at the whole discussion about value and price, because those things can mean different things to different people, right?
Absolutely.
And depending on your expectations as to what the cigar shall provide you in terms of the overall experience, the sensation, the
Correct.
feeling.
Mhm.
For some people, even what you portray to others by enjoying a particular cigar. Whether that's right or wrong, that's a whole different discussion, and it's individual. It's
That's
different for everyone.
marketing as well.
But you made one excellent point, and that is there's such an intrinsic value in the product itself that if
Yeah.
people would only realize what it takes in terms of time, energy, investment, heart and soul, and blood, sweat, and tears, as we always say, to produce one single handmade premium cigar,
It's a lot.
it would change the entire conversation. And we would realize that we're enjoying a luxury product at an extremely affordable price. And it's an affordable luxury for an everyday break from reality that it's when you think about it in that way, it's tremendously underpriced.
But it's because people, they just think, oh, I go to this lounge and I buy this cigar. Oh, I go to this lounge. Oh, I go on the website. Well, even if you buy the youngest or the youngest or the youngest plants, leaves to make a cigar, it's a minimum of 3 years. You have to harvest 6 months. You have to fermentate 2 years. Well, you have to dry it first, then you have to fermentate. So, and then you have to roll it and put in the. It's 3 years before you put the seed until you smoke it. It's 3 years, and that's counting as a brand new cigar, a brand new leaf. Not talking about 5 years, 7 years, 8 years. So really, really, a cigar is expensive. No, this crap I smoke is expensive. This is handmade, and this is expensive. But a cigar, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, don't go to the $100 cigar, no, but that's a different thing. Marketing, who you are, who you know, and all of that. But yeah, yeah.
Macy is here with us, our lawyer in residency. Good to see you, Macy. I hope everything is well. Curious to hear your questions.
Thank you so much. And well, you just reminded me of the amicus brief I filed on behalf of the Heartland Institute, an FDA appeal, where these health groups want to treat tobacco all the same and without appreciating the differences of handmade premium cigars. And that was central to the brief. And I mean, the more you dig into that, the more just the misconceptions of whether it's regulators or people not, I mean, well, and that's why I wrote the brief. Anyway, I'm not good, but you're right on that, and you sidetracked me with your point there. Ish, first of all, great to meet you. Love the story, and actually, I just got ordered this morning. You have a great judge named Raj Singhal, federal judge. I've just been ordered to trial, not me, client, May 10th in Fort Lauderdale, 299 Broward Boulevard. So if you
It's
have
40
any
minutes from me.
tips for, pardon me?
It's 40 minutes from me.
Well, what are you doing the week of May 10th? Let's smoke some cigars and celebrate. Let's talk about some
Absolutely.
business. We got a lot of things to talk about. I'll just tell you that it's worth your time. But
Let's do it.
I might even buy the cigars and talk to the Half Wheel boys. I even pay and I kiss after the date and everything. So it's good. But look, I love the fact that you're just very honest, and that's why I raised my hand. Is there aren't enough people like you in the business? So I really appreciate it and love your demeanor.
Thank you.
And that, I love your spirit. Just it's just very authentic, and I thank you for your service. I presume it's the United States.
Thank you. Was Europe, and then I'm an instructor in the United States, but my service was all in Europe, and I'm here in a military and police instructor. Yes.
Well, that's good. Tell them to take it easy with me on the taser, if they would, please. Actually, I heard it's not fun to be tased. I had a client who did, and he goes, you actually been tased? They said, luckily, no, knock on wood. He goes, yeah, not fun. I said, okay, I'm sorry. I got this bag here. First question, just odd one, is I've had a mold problem arise. And actually, in an LE Blue humidor, I keep my cigars at 65%. I like them a little drier. I think it came from failure to rotate the cigars. Just do you, in your experience in factory and handling tobacco, do you have any thoughts on just mold. And I found that it's Cuban and Dominican made cigars that seem to be most susceptible to mold. But do you have any thoughts on that, or what might be going on, just from your experience?
Well, Cuban cigars and Dominican cigars are not quite the same, but they're similar because of the weather. If you think about it, Cuban, Dominican is not that far away. So the weather is very propense to have mold. You don't take care of the humidity. It's not the temperature, it's the humidity. So what I will do, normally what I do is I don't care if I'm going to have the cigars for 3 months or a year. What I do, if I'm not smoking the cigars within the 3 months, I will pick up a little patches and I'll put in the freezer for 2 or 3 days and then take it out from the freezer. So like this, they, compress and decompress, and it will never crack on you. It will not lose the flavor. It will not get mildew. And God forbid, it has a beetle, that beetle will be gone. So it's mostly with Cuban cigars, I do that. In fact, I have right now in the patio refrigerator, freezer, I have right there a Bolivars over there because they're very propense to happen that. And of course, people can use Bovida, you can use different things. I will do not 65, I will do 68. 65 probably will give you a little more of tendency. Remember, a cigar has to be temperature and a humidity to one number. The number is 140, meaning 70 will be perfect. Now, you can vary a little. Doesn't mean that you can have 100 Fahrenheit and 40 humidity. No, it's no. You have to be, 65, 75, 70, 70, 68, 72, something like that. So you have it at 65. You should have it, 65 and 65 is 130 plus 10. So it should be 65 and 75. And you will, how you said, it will compensate the humidity with the temperature. Otherwise, it will not work. It's very important. Both of them, it has to be 140, if it makes any sense.
Do you think after the mold freezing, do you think a little bit of mold, it's a problem, or do you say toss them? Can they be saved?
Well, the mold, the best thing to is pick up a tissue, just go like that. If it is gone, don't worry about it. If it is a little oil mark, don't worry about it. If it's still green and you cannot take it, just toss it.
Yeah.
Or if it's just on the food, just cut it. If it's just on the food, just cut it.
If it's green or blue mold, do not smoke it.
Yeah, it's just a little white fuzzies. I caught it early. But anyway, and I found it tastes a little, but it's still, especially these. I got some Opus and some. It's worth the gamble. Got some Mirafel Cameroon on these old Don Carlos. I gotta take the shot, I think. Real quick though, since I got, are there any, just as a factory owner, and I been on a lot of tours, all that, but just any tips or any myths that you can bust real quickly, like, hey, if I were buying cigars, or here's just some things that I think people need to know that are misconceptions that are out there, because I bet you've got a couple that are valuable.
Well, it's many of them. Misconception, for instance, is how long it takes to do a blend. People will take 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. It's not. I can make you a blend within 10 seconds. That's a misconception. Now, that I had the tobacco to do a production for 10,000 cigars, I might not, but the blend takes 10 seconds. People think, oh, it's 5 years, and that what you pay, you're going to do your own blend a lot because you think in the time, which is not. Another one is that all the tobacco is the same. It is not. So tobacco is tobacco, but it's not. So I see many people come into the factory, open a box. Oh, they're different color. Well, yeah, they're different wrappers. It's the same plant, but it's different color, like in oranges, like in watermelons, like my brother and I, we both Europeans, he doesn't look like me. Yeah, we came from the same mother, but the color vary a little, the height vary a little. So that's when most people are like, wow, but it's different colors on the wrappers. Well, yeah, it's not the same plant. Wow, but I thought that all the tobacco is the same. No, it's not. Another one is like people think that it's only one seed for the whole process of the cigar. It's not. You have the C40 wrapper, the C40 we call capote, which is the binder, and the one for la tripa, which is the filler. And most people don't know that. Obviously, the wrapper mostly is done in greenhouse because of the sun. so that you can use tobacco from those plants to, use as a binder as well, use as a filler as well. Yes, you can. But actually, it's 3 different seeds from the 3 different parts of the cigar. Most people don't know that. That's the most common ones that people will ask. And prices. Why this can be, this cigar is rolled by this guy, now you change the blend, and it's this much. Well, because it's not the same tobacco, it doesn't cost the same, it doesn't come from the same place, it's a different shape, it's a different press, it's different. So that's the thing that, tobacco is tobacco. Yeah, absolutely, tobacco is tobacco. How you put the tobacco together, which tobacco you use, that's the difference. That's the most common question that people ask, that they have, they don't understand why. But that's why it's not complicated, really. You got it. Thank you.
Over to Dejan.
Hi, Ish. Long
Oh,
time
I'm
no
scared
see.
now. How you doing, brother?
It should be. It should be.
I'm scared now.
No. I have a very simple question, Ish. So the question is this:
Good.
how much of information about your cigars, how much detail do you publish, and how much is a secret? Like, which exactly tobacco do you put in filler, the binder? How long has it been aged? Where is it from? All of this. What detail is public and what detail is hidden?
It's easy question. You can go to my website. It's easy question. I disclose everything but the percentage. For instance, Coca-Cola, it tells you the ingredients, but don't tell you how much percentage of ingredient they put.
Okay.
Tonic water, ingredients, but not how much percentage they put. So I disclose where it's coming from. People ask me, I can tell you who is the farmer, who they got a harvest, who they got a dry it. I can give you everything. I can tell you, okay, I use Seco Piloto Cubano, IT13, Viso 2020, and Criollo in the filler. I use Viso Nicaraguans in the binder, and I use Havana 2000 on the wrapper. That's what I use. Now, I'm not going to tell you if it was a 20% of Ligero, if it was a 10%, because now I give you the whole blend, and you will make the same cigar if you want it. But yeah, I disclose everything but the percentage.
Very nice. And just another quick question.
Sure.
Will you be ever, do you go often to, to Dominican Republic? Is that there where the stuff is at, right?
Yeah,
Do you
I
travel
have,
a lot?
it's 2 hours from me. So well, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes. 45 minutes to the airport.
Yeah.
I leave my car over there, or I just pick up a taxi or a friend, and it's 2 hours I'm in the factory. 2 hours, that's all.
Ah. So if I was ever to, continue the idea of my cigars, I could meet you there.
Absolutely,
right?
yes. Absolutely, yes.
If I go to Dominican,
Absolutely.
I should talk first to you and then tell you we meet there, and we would meet there.
Sure, we can meet over there, or we can meet over here in Florida, meet in Florida, we travel together, whatever. Absolutely, yes. Sure.
Very nice.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Yes,
very
sir.
much.
So how's everything? Good with you?
Oh yeah, in Vienna it's all good. It's all good. I switched jobs, but it's like super good. Everything. I still wait for you to come around, to visit.
Well, that was what I was about to tell you. I might, because it's another person that I had to see over there, which is the senior editor of very cigar journals over there that I met, and we were smoking cigars and all of that. I might be in Vienna. I'm going to be in Europe October 3rd to October 18th. I know that with the wife, I have to go to see Grace, and obviously to Spain to say hello to my mother. But I might be in Vienna for 2 days. I might be in Vienna. I will let you know.
That would be very interesting-ish. So if you will be,
October.
we have to talk. We have to talk.
Okay.
And we have to make something out of it,
Absolutely, yes. Count on that.
Yes.
You got it.
Great.
And
Great.
if we're
Thanks,
super
Ish.
lucky, I
Very
might
nice.
be at home, and then we smoke a cigar, all 3 of us in Vienna.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
exactly,
yes.
Reinhard. We should. We should.
Ish, allow me a brief follow-up question on Dejan's first one.
Sure.
How important do you think the blend information truly is for the consumer? I've been chewing on this question forever now, and because you mentioned Reinhold and Cigar Journal, me being a contributing author for Cigar Journal, I'm working on a series of articles where I want to give people a better understanding of individual tobaccos and how they contribute to a blend. Because I'm a geek and I love to know as much as possible. And please
Like should be.
bombard me with which centimeter of plot of land, in which valley, in which region, in which country you grow, which seed type of tobacco, and tell me, the length, the temperature in the pilones during the fermentation. I'd love to know as much as possible. But the
Absolutely.
question is, the industry has come to a point where most people will just methodically and repetitively go through a pattern of, here's my new cigar, wrapper, binder, filler. Go leave me alone and enjoy your cigar. And I understand people's curiosity and quest to learn and understand more, but what good does it do for an end consumer if you know there's Esteli Ligero in the filler and you never in your life tasted that tobacco? You have absolutely no idea what it contributes to the blend, let alone when you read all this information about the tobaccos in the blend, how does it come together? Where are these particular notes coming from? And I would even think at some point you create preconceived notions or misconceptions in people's heads, because probably you smoked a cigar you didn't like and you read, well, the wrapper was Connecticut broadleaf, but it was something else in the filler that really set you off and you didn't like it. But now you think, well, I didn't really like that broadleaf cigar, so I won't touch another Connecticut broadleaf for a while. So, very long-winded question. What do you think about this topic?
It's simple answer, super simple, because I always say the same thing. It's 100%. It should be a law saying that it's mandatory to disclose what is in the cigar, to be honest with you. Why? Because you imagine that I like this cigar, well, any cigar. I like this cigar, for instance, this cigar. But I don't know what is in it, but I love the cigar. I go to another place or somebody give me another cigar and it tastes like this other cigar. And I like it, but I don't know what is in it. So if I knew that in this one it was a Criollo 98 with a little, I don't know, Visa 2020, I will go and look for another cigar that it has Criollo 98 or Visa 2020. So I smoke and say, no, that was not it. I smoke the other one, oh, that's it. So now I know that every cigar, most probably that has a Visa 2020, it will be to my palate. So it's super important to know, not just if it comes from Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Honduras, Peru, Salvador. No, what is the name of the leaf? Obviously, it's going to be different for, I don't know, 1998 to 2005 to 2024, but at least it's the same ingredient per se. So it should be mandatory, to be honest with you. Everybody should know what you're smoking. You're putting something in your body.
I just feel that still there are so many variables which are very difficult to understand for an end consumer, when one type of seed could be leading to very different results depending on where it is grown, how you treat it in the pre-industry, and then of course how you blend it with the other components. So let me ask you differently. Which type of information do you think is crucial for the consumer? Is it the seed varietal? Is it the origin? Or is it just as much as possible and better disclose everything?
I will do not the whole thing, because it will be, imagine the self-talkers, it will be like this long, but yes, say the country and the name of the leaf. For instance, okay, it's Nicaraguan. You can say, Jalapa, for instance. Say the region, the country, the region, and the leaf. So, okay, it's a Nicaraguan from Jalapa, and it's I don't know, a rapid Corojo. Okay, so you know that Rapid Corojo comes from Jalapa, that is a region of Nicaragua. So you might like that cigar, but now when you go to another place and it tells you the same thing, because you like the cigar, you will go and buy different brand because it has the same components, the same country, the same origin, the same wrapper. Obviously, it's the binder and it's the filler and all of that. But it should be disclosed origin, country, origin, and the name of the. I don't care the year. I don't care if it's a 2024. Well, it can be because we're in 2024. It's a 2022 Criollo, or it's a 1795. Well, go figure, you know. So that's not. But
Sorry, Ish, by that, do you mean the year when it was harvested, or do you mean if it's a specific
just
hybrid?
the origin. If it's the hybrid, the name of the leaf, and where it's coming from. The year really that's the matter, because from one year to the next it's not going to taste the same, unless that everything is exactly the same rain, exactly the same sun, exactly the same. The whole tobacco, it will taste very similar because it's many leaves on it. But you counting the wrapper to take the same thing 10 years ago for 9 years ago, it will not happen. It's impossible. It's different. Even if the soil is the same thing, different minerals, different rain, different kind of sun, different kind of saddle, different weather. But at least if you know where it's coming from, you know, okay, that's what I like, that's what I don't like. But it should be this close.
Cool. Ryan, over to you.
Hello. Hey, sorry.
Good morning,
Good
man.
afternoon. Ish, we met on Zoom Cigar Bar quite a long time ago. I
Yes,
haven't
sir.
I haven't been there in a long time, but I met Andy there too, and I'm gonna tell a quick story from yesterday. Just I hope everyone will get a kick out of it. So I went to my least favorite cigar lounge. I took a walk yesterday to grab some stuff, and I asked the gentleman there. I was like, "Do you have crowned heads?" And he's like, "Crowned heads, yeah." And he walks me over to Dunbarton, and he says, "Here you go. These are crowned heads." I'm like, that's pretty sure. I mean, and I'll preface this by saying I don't know a ton about, like, maybe one of the least educated, cigar aficionados here. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Dunbarton. He's like, yeah, sure. I think you'll like this. Here, points out the most expensive one. Like, have you had this? I think you'll love this. This is great. Crowned heads.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, all right. So with all the misinformation out there, you were saying earlier kind of about the nonsense of marketing. And I think, we're all trying to find some true facts and be educated consumers. Being in the industry, and like you said before, it's a really small industry, and you kind of know everything and you know people. So how easy is it for you to sniff out bullshit and nonsense? And I remember one time, Cy was doing an interview, and there was a guy in there, and there was a brand that he was talking about, and you were just kind of like keeping your mouth shut. You're like, because you had all the insider information. You're like, this guy is just spewing a bunch of nonsense right now. And so how easy is it to do that? And I'm also curious about why this thing perpetuates where we don't say names. Jose Blanco's like, I'm not gonna name names. Maybe it's out of respect, because he's like, well, you bash a brand, you could hurt this person's livelihood. They're putting their heart and soul into what they're creating. But if it's based on lies and it's a bunch of nonsense, wouldn't it better the business to out people? I don't know.
Yeah, I totally get what you're asking. First of all, to smell bullshit, I guarantee you, before the guy finishes, I already know. Guarantee you, I already know. And I was saying names, I understand from Jose Blanco because he works for somebody else. In my case, I don't get to say a name because I work for myself. The only thing that it can be heard is myself. If I don't do as often as I should, is because if I hear myself, I hear my employees. But remember, that will be only United States. I have Europe, I have Asia, I have Australia finally, and we have Canada already. So I really wouldn't care. Of course I can. But people should say names. Like you see my last reel I did yesterday, and almost 3 o'clock in the morning, is this guy sending me an email, but to me, why you put that? Is his email? I said, I don't care. The guy told me, excuse me, dear mister, I'm very impressed with your website. I would like for you to send me lots of free samples, and after I evaluate the taste of the cigars, I might or might not buy your cigars. Thank you. See, that's freaking 2:45 in the morning, and you just send me an email to say that. So I say, dear sir, I would like to know when you go to the butcher, you say, I want through 2 filet mignons, 3 ribeyes, 4 hams. give it for free, and then after I evaluate, I might or may not buy it from you. The guy never answered back. So I just publish. So it's smell bullcrap is easy. To know what the bullcrap is even easier. And it's what people don't know, that it can be people right now over here that if I say one thing that is incorrect, say, well, but I've been in his 2 years ago, in one of the interviews, and he says something different. Well, that's why you don't ever lie. If you lie, you cannot cover your life for years. And most of the people do that. I don't know why. No idea. I don't want to know why. But just don't lie. Just don't lie. And you have to say names? Absolutely. Go for it. You have, commercials every day in the TV. Oh, you talk, I don't know, Allegra, you suffer from blah, blah, blah. It is $10 million, blah, blah. People say the names. So, cigars, it should be the same thing. Again, you don't want to damage people or for them to damage you. But if they're full of crap and you call them up, most probably they will be bye-bye and you still being who you are. That's my opinion. That's how I am.
Awesome. Thanks. Cheers. Thanks.
No problem. Cheers.
Many thanks, Brian, for the question. Andy,
Hey, how you doing?
good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Long time no see-ish. Long time no see, Reinhard.
Absolutely. A month?
Yeah, maybe. You know,
Oh, man.
I was listening to some of the questions that were asked, and I kind of on the fence on some of them because you can't give a definitive answer to the questions.
Well,
Is it important for an owner to be seen? The owner is not necessarily the face of the cigar. As I've learned over the years, if you have reps, they're the face of your cigar. Okay. And if you have a rep for, like in my case, 10 years with one brand, when I left, the brand died in my area. I brought the owner made an ass out of himself. And this has happened with 4 different owners. And if it wasn't for the fact that it was me, those cigars wouldn't be in the shop. So when I hear, the owner needs to show up, yes, some of them do. If you're at the show, you need to show up. You're not going to get Carlito Fuente over to the West Coast. He doesn't come to the West Coast very often at all. Okay. And you're never going to see Dion Giolito at an event. He doesn't do events, except sometimes in a rare case in a multi-vendor event. But the reps, those are a lot of the faces of the cigar industry that people see. But the other thing that got me was when you were saying, oh, you need to put all the different tobaccos. Yes, to a certain degree, but I get a lot of people when I did events who would say, well, what year is this, or what's this or the other thing? And most of the people that ask these questions are trying to look good when they're asking the questions. They don't know. And I basically tell them the same thing. There's really only 2 things you need to know about a cigar. You either like it or you don't like it. Because there are cigars I've smoked with Criollo that I thought were great. And a lot of cigars I've smoked with Criollo that totally sucked. They had the same binder filler wrapper. But it was the chef. It was the blender. Because a blender can take the same 3 or 4 tobaccos, and they can make an exceptionally good cigar. You're an example of that. Yeah. But a lot of the time, I've been around where they butchered them. I'm going to give you an example. I usually won't mention names of cigar brands, but I'm going to in this particular case. I happen to like the Christoph Criollo. Now, I have an issue with the owner, but I thought it was a very good cigar. But I also knew the blender, and I knew his work. CAO had a Criollo, which I wouldn't use to clean poop off my shoe. It's not my palate. It's not that it's a bad cigar. It's not my palate. So, for me, it's important to know the wrapper because of the flavor profile of a cigar. The wrapper is a very important thing. The binder, most people don't realize it's important, but not nearly as important as the wrapper. But when you brought up Connecticut broadleaf, for example, Connecticut broadleaf wants to take over the entire cigar. It's hard to work with because it's such a dominating tobacco. That's a hard one to blend with. And I have had some wonderful, wonderful broadleaf cigars, and I've had some absolutely obnoxious. And they had the same binder and filler, but the percentage made a huge difference. So
That's what
I'm
I said
really
before, percentage.
yeah, yeah. And that's why I feel that 98% of the people who come to cigar lounges for events, especially if an owner are there, that's what they're there for. They're for the owner. They're for the deals on the cigars. They don't really know what they're talking about in tobacco. So you and I, we sat down in Colorado and we talked for what, 3 hours
3 hours
about
plus.
different
Yeah.
tobaccos, yeah, and blends. But like Reinhard, I'm a weenie. I'm the idiot who gets a blender and a buyer in a car, and we drive down and I want to see how I can recognize the tobacco plants growing on the side of the road in the different farms. Not because it's that important to 90% of the people, but for me it is, because I like to know what's cooking and how things are working. And it's important to me. For most people, don't try and look like you're more than you are when you're trying to buy cigars. Go to the event. If you like the cigar, great, buy the cigar. Know that you like Nicaraguan tobacco, maybe know that you like Dominican tobacco. But like, for instance, Christoph uses Dominican, Honduran, and Nicaraguan in all their cigars. Well, most of their cigars.
Yeah.
I mean, they have other wrappers that they use, but the fillers are all pretty much the same. And a lot of companies, if you smoke a Fuente, most Fuentes have that Fuente taste. If you smoke Padron, who doesn't have reps, that's where it's important to meet the owner, but you're only going to meet the owners if you go to the show.
Or you travel with them to Spain.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's one thing about you that's different. You're all over the board. I mean, I can smoke one of your cigars and it tastes completely one way, and I could smoke another one and it's completely on the other side of the spectrum. And
Absolutely.
I know it's one of your cigars because it all has the same personality. And that's one of the interesting things I find about you. I sat down and I smoked a few of the cigars you gave me when we were in Vegas, and they were like, one was all the way to the left and one was all the way to the right.
But that's to be honest with you, Andy, that's what when people tell me what is set you apart or make you different than the rest of the people. And my answer is always the same thing, I'm an Spaniard, born and raised in Spain, moved to the United States. I live and work in 69 countries. My wife is from Trinidad and Tobago. I have an English bully, a Chinese pug. So I'm not married to nobody. So why to use just one tobacco? I use 10,000 different tobaccos. And just make, like a chef, you're going to use just, a meat. Put a little salt, a little pepper, do this, do that. So depending the ingredients, is going to taste a bad thing. It can taste very good because what you put on it. Same with tobacco. Tobacco could be not as good, but depends what you put, together in the filler, or you use a different binder. I agree with the wrapper. It tastes flavor, depends the ring gauge, of course. But you can make a bad tobacco taste very good. And you can, sorry, and pardon for my friends, but you can fuck it up. Good tobacco, you're doing wrong. So but going to that, I believe that if you know where the tobacco comes from, the same thing like with wine or whiskey or whatever, at least well, I have a wine from a Bordeaux, and I like it. So I go right now to another country, and I see in the wine list is a Bordeaux, and I don't know any one of the others. I say, well, unless I know that the Bordeaux, it was good for me, so let me order that. It's gonna be not the same that the one that you drink 2 years ago, but at least you have something, you have a guide. That's what I mean about putting what is in the cigar. If you have a guy, at least for people that they don't know much about cigars, they can follow that. If you know about cigars or people that they don't care about cigars, it's a different thing. But if you have a legal guy, I believe it makes it easier for you to pick up the next cigar, if it makes any sense.
Yeah, it could. But like your expressions with wine. Okay, you go to Napa and they want to charge you an arm and a leg for a wine tasting. Okay.
Of course.
And you say, but I really like Napa wines. But you get a hold of the guy who's the blender for the wine, okay, and the winemaker. and you ask him about the grapes, and he said, yes, we use Chilean grapes and we use grapes from Lodi on some of them. It's no longer, in my opinion, or some people's opinion, a true Napa wine.
No, it's not.
It's a wine that's made in Napa.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're seeing that more and more and more. You know, a Dominican cigar may have variables from all different countries. So yeah, in some essence, I think it's important always to put what's the binder filler and the wrapper on there. But when you start getting people asking what priming is it, why do you care?
People don't know. People don't know about that. Anyways, unless that you are picky, like Reinhard say, hey, I want to know every single thing because I'm like this. I picky as hell, so I want to know. That's what when I'm gonna buy big inventory, I fly and I choose it myself. Nobody chooses. And I can take 10 days, 10 days. I don't care. I go leaf by leaf. You like it or not? Oh, man, what are you doing? Well, I want to know what I buy. So when you pick it like that, yes. But people need to know everything about it. Again, I don't know what Coca-Cola has. Or I drink it or I don't. I don't know anything about what this cow ate. Why eat the steak or I don't. So it's, so it's how it is. And like you said that Napa, but it comes from grapes from Argentina or comes from Lodi, California. It comes from whatever. It's the same thing with my BTC. My BTC is 100 Cuban cigar rolling the DR. It's not Cuban cigar no more. So it depends where you do it and depends how you do it. It can be one way or the other. But yeah, it's going to the knowing what is. You don't need to know everything. No, you don't. But at least, it's a Nicaraguan filler. Okay, maybe it's from Jalapa, maybe it's from Condega, maybe it's from Esteli, or it's it's a Cuban cigar. Oh, Omatepi, or you go to Cuba, or it's from Pinar del Rio, it's from Habana Vieja, it's from Baladero. So people don't know, they don't need to know that because they never are going to go to those places anyways, most of them. But at least have an idea where it comes, the name at least of the leaf, it's a ligero nicaragüense. Okay. Which ligero? It's a ligero nicaragüense. So if you like it, and another time you try, oh, I like this. Okay. Has ligero nicaragüense? Yes, let me try. It's not just one leaf, it's many leaves in the cigar. But at least you have something that you like from the beginning or from before. It helps to people to determine, it's what people use, the same cologne or the same perfume or the same car or the same builder or the same whatever, because they trust it, they like it, and they keep doing the same thing. That's what is important to me, to disclose what to want to some point is in the cigar. You cannot get the whole Bible of the cigar because it will be impossible, But yeah.
Yeah, I want to see your shelf talkers that are this long. I want to know what priming, what plant, what year.
That was the shelf talkers. It will be like a mile long,
Before we wrap things up, I'm curious
Sure.
as to let's look a little bit into the future. And obviously, you have plenty of different things to take care of, and a lot of different projects under your wings. When looking into the next couple of years, where do you see the major focus? Is it more on the factory side? Is it more on the brand aspect and creating new cigars, new brands, new blends? Or would you say, well, it all goes hand in hand anyways, and you want to keep spreading yourself into all these different regions in order to be very hands-on with all aspects of the business?
In fact, yes, it goes hand on hand, but actually the people going out to events and with your own brand or whatever, you start to focus more in, oh, I like your cigar, but I'm more this kind of cigar. You go to different origin, or United States or whatever, it could be Europe or whatever. So those brands that they moving, they just not sitting home doing nothing. They go to events and they introduce themselves. They start to, the perception of other people, what they like. So now they can go to the factory and say, listen, I want my tobacco, but I want from this. And many manufacturers tell you, why? Well, because that's what I want, because it's what people want. So it's very important to know what you're going to do with the cigar or who the factory is just to listen to people, what they like. And if you like something, maybe I don't like it, but if you like it and that guy like it and that guy like it, make it. So I believe that the future is going to be more based in what people talk about the cigar than the actual blend that the blender can do, in my opinion. I believe so.
And for you personally, do you see yourself more focused on the manufacturing part and very involved with the factory, or also creating other projects, other brands on the road, speaking with the end consumer to collect that feedback that you were just talking about?
That's exactly what I will do. Always, like right now, we have 96 brands that we make cigars. Kind of 5 to 10 blends per each one of them. So it's over 1,000 of them when you put everything together. And no one is the same. And I like when they come and they tell me, listen, Ish, it was magnificent. It was an amazing thing. But people asking me that in my 5 lines or faces, I don't have anything that it has, I don't know, Corojo Oscuro wrapper and I don't know, an IT13 filler. Can you do that? I say, okay, let me do that. You try it and you like it. Pick up another 5 or 6 people and let them try. Not because you're the owner and you like it means that the rest of the universe will like it. And I like that. So when people do that, I like for them to go ahead and give to different people to try. And if 4 out of 5, they say yes, well, even if you say no, if 4 say yes, it must be a yes. And that's how I see myself doing things.
Beautiful. Ish, it's been a great pleasure to have you on the show, and thank you so
No,
much
thank you for having me.
with us, your experience, your insights, and your open and honest words. It's greatly appreciated, and you know, we need straight talk, and we need clarity and great information in the industry. So, you know, the more the merrier, and
Absolutely.
it's always good to, you know, spend time with people who are hands-on and who have their hands on the product and in the earth, in the dirt, in order to make these magical cigars happen and bring them to us. So thank you so much for everything that you shared with us. Thanks for taking the time and being our guest on the
Absolutely.
Lounge today. And I look forward to sharing a cigar with you in person soon. So
Absolutely, yes.
Vienna
Thank you for
waits for
having me.
you. You know, somebody else already sang that, but
Yep.
we'll make it happen. And until then, I wish you nothing but continued success, all the very best, and
Thank you so much.
keep enjoying what you're doing. And thank you for being our guest tonight. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks to
Thanks.
everybody for joining us this week.
Good
We'll see
seeing you,
you
Ish.
next week. Same
Reinhard.
time, same station. We'll be back Wednesday for another Light 'em Up Lounge, and I look forward to a special show with Fred Riway next week. So please stay tuned, and we'll see you next week here on Wednesday. Until then, light 'em up, and all the best, everybody. Cheers.
Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Reinhard.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Good night.